Okay. Okay, let's start. Hey guys, this is Steve from DorahAcks. Very, very happy to host today's kickoff session for the very first quadratic funding grant for Avalanche and a very exciting $5 million, $6 million hackathon for, I think, one of the biggest in Avalanche history. We're kicking off this hackathon together with Wilson and Lini here. Wilson is the head of Asia for Avalanche Foundation, and Lini is the technical advisor for Avalanche APAC region. Welcome, guys. Hi, Wilson. Hi, Lini. Thanks for joining today's workshop.
Hey.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hi.
Yeah, great to meet you all. And we're happy to join this event and very happy to meet everyone here. And we hope to bring a very good hackathon together with DorahAcks. Let's talk more about it shortly.
Awesome. So yeah, this is, like I mentioned, this is a $5-6 million exciting hackathon, one of the biggest in DorahAcks history as well. We expect a lot of participation, exciting projects to join, and later in this workshop, Wilson will share more about the progress of Avalanche development. What are some of the projects we're expecting in this event? And Lini will share a bit more on the technical side, how to integrate into the Avalanche network. What are some of the technical stuff that you guys should know about before you start building on Avalanche? So we have a lot of exciting partners joining this event. There are a lot of VCs very carefully watching all the newly emerged projects from this event. So yeah, without further ado, today's schedule will be Wilson introducing Avalanche to us first, and Lini will provide some technical insight. I will cover some of the schedule for the whole event and how should you participate in this event with DorahAcks developer incentive platform HackerLink. So yeah, without further ado, let's kick it off. Wilson, the stage is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. And hello, everyone. This is Wilson. So let me introduce myself. So I joined Avalanche back to 2020, end of 2020. So it was just a little bit further when the mainnet launched. So it was a really exciting time. With myself backgrounds, I had over 12 years of traditional financial experience. Then I joined crypto in 2018, and it was still a good time. Then we experienced the bull market and bearish market, so we had some experience in this exciting market. So it was lucky that to join Avalanche back to 2020, and so I was start to operate in the broader China market, and progressively we expand into other parts of Asia, including other Southeast Asia, and also coverage Hong Kong, Taiwan, and now we expand a little bit more. So from this hackathon onwards, we get a coverage from Japan, Korea, also India. So what we are doing is with the expansion of the whole Avalanche platform, and we also expand in various regions. So when we are experiencing this hyper growth, and we recognize there are many people and there are many projects are actually looking to access to the ecosystem. So what's the best way to join the Avalanche ecosystem? So we decided to actually to launch a hackathon and give people an exposure and give people opportunities and give people guidance and attractions, let them really give a gateway to enter into this ecosystem. And so let me give you a little bit background of Avalanche. Back to 2020, around September, I think September 16th, and we launched on mainnet. And our first deck was launched back to last year, February. It was called Penguin. And then later in the middle of the year, and we launched our bridge called Avalanche Bridge. So it was a really fast bridge. We connect with Ethereum. So we open up the gate with Ethereum, the OG users, and also in the process, in the third quarter of 2021, and we got connected with various exchanges on the C chain. which is our EVM compatible blockchain. And then in August, we launched our Avalanche Rush incentive program. At that time, we had announced 10 million Avalanche tokens. It was about 180 million US dollar at that time, but now it's already mounting up to 600 to 700 million at this moment. So we give a lot of this kind of incentive, and we build a very strong platform, and we encourage developers come to the platform to build. And so this was happened last year. So how about this year? And we actually expecting a larger sum of the developers and projects coming to Avalanche to build. And it's mainly because we have a very solid foundation. We have a very concrete platform, and we have very good infrastructures. It was just so easy to build on Avalanche. And based on our own consensus, the Avalanche consensus, we can provide around 0.8 time to finality. And it is the key for the developer to drive their application on a very solid platform and really to do their show on their applications. So coming to this year, since we know there are many developers actually seeking a gateway to enter into the ecosystem, so we launched a series of hackathons. So we had the Turkey market hackathon. We also had the Morels hackathon in the States. So now, how about Asia? So we need to get this market covered. We know there's many users and there are many developers. They're looking for a chance to enter into this market. So that is the reason we prepared this for many months. And now finally is a time for us to launch this hackathon. And we see the ecosystem is at the age of booming. And many global projects actually approached us. Very interesting is that we actually have an Asian ecosystem fund called Avatar Venture. So we've been approached by many global projects. They say like, okay, like I'm in the ecosystem. So how do I enter how do we penetrate the Asian market? So they always come to us and look for us. Then we help them to get a great access. We help them to get great connected with the right resources. All of those is something that we see the needs of the global projects. But how about Asia side? And we see many people and many VCs and many partners, they're actually looking for to expand in a global way. And they're looking to enter into Avalanche ecosystem, but sometimes they don't have the right channel to access to the projects. So how do we do it? So we try to connect them together, and we are the bridge to connect them together. We need to get the capital with the right project, right resources, and get them access to this market. So that's why I think it's pretty good time and pretty right resources to connect both sides. So the topic for this hackathon we talk about is called Asia Resources for Global Projects. So we gathered those Asia resources, including like wallet, exchanges, our ideal platform, our accelerators, including trading companies, various kind of media partners and regional partners. So all of these, we think it's a great resources for the global projects to access to this market. Okay, so let's talk about the differences of this hackathon. So in many hackathons, we know it is a great competition or it's a great show off for many projects with really great technology. But coming into 2022, we coming into a time where we need many great applications to come on board. People need to really use it, not just look at the pure technology side or the infrastructure side. We've been spending many years to build the infrastructure. So how do we allow people easy to use? How do we open up the gate for user to access to have easy access to the blockchain network and resources? So we are thinking we want to launch a hackathon which is providing users with the really application-based, ready to use kind of resources or projects and to access the value of the blockchain. So in order to accelerate the whole process, we get a large sum of fundings, including all the sponsors. We have sum up more than $5 million worth of tokens that to support this hackathon. And the key difference is we split into two portions, and we have 90% of those funds actually will be investment-based kind of allocation, that we will reward the top 10 projects with the 90% of the fundings. And the other 10%, we will contribute into a quadratic pool. That means we will engage with the communities. We engage with various communities. We want users to participate. We want their involvement. We want their understanding of the ecosystem from the whole process of the hackathon, which is 2 months plus. And then they really can understand the project. They can do study. They can understand which other sectors are doing what kind of advance in those sectors. So we have no limits on any sectors. You can be a DeFi project, you can be a NFT, Metaverse, Gamefi, SocialFi, infrastructure toolings, and any of these. I think it's all open, because I think at this moment, most of the new high performance blockchain are still at very early stage, even though you have DAx's lending platform. But I still think all these tools or platform are still at a very, very basic level. We still have a large space to expand. So that's why we want to open up this space to give the opportunity to the developers, whatever is in your mind, whatever you think you have the knowledge, power, skill, and technology to be on this platform, and it's your show. So we want to open up this gate. So with the 5 million plus of the reward, is an investment-based price. So you need to contribute a certain percentage of token to allow the investor to come in, and we bring those investment for you. So you have shortened all the investment process at the very first beginning. And also we have engaged more than 50 over regional partners. Just now we mentioned, including VCs, media company, wallet company, trading company, exchanges, all of those. So these are the partners, great resources for you to access to this ecosystem, especially in Asia. And regionally, we'll also bring partners from broader China, Japan, Korea, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and India. So all these regional resources also will be a great resources for you to access. And in terms of internal of the ecosystem, we have engaged with our ideal platform, which is Avalanche, and also engaged our accelerator, which is Kalani. So they will be the helpers in the ecosystem to help on. And more than that, we have over 20 ecosystem OGs. There's so many names to come to. You can see most of the top ecosystem OGs are engaging in our ecosystem, and they're happy to help newcomers to onboard. So these will be the internal ecosystem resources we bring to you. And after the project accelerate into the ideal stage, and furthermore, we have a lot of exchange partners, and they will be helping you to access into the liquidity market. So also the trading partners will help you maybe on the market making sides or liquidity providing. So all of these resources we have all combined into one hackathon. So I think this is something that we want to do the biggest in Asia. And also we have the great resources, great combination of resources to bring into Asia. And but we don't limit to the region of the projects. We welcome to all the global projects, come and participate and compete and show off. It's your game, and we want to give you the platform to play. And we are the platform to give you these resources to play around. And we believe in the coming near future, and we will see many great developers comes to the platform, and we will spend a lot more time to gather a lot more resources in Asia. And this is our first show of the hackathon, but definitely we will do more and more for the developers to engage with the community. Let's get it in a much bigger scale. And I believe you will play well in this game, and I believe you will have a great time in Avalanche platform. So if you're a legit project, if you are smart enough, if you have great ideas, never limit yourself and come to the Asia Hackathon, and let's rock it. Thanks, Steve. And I think this would be, giving the users a basic understanding and knowledge about Avalanche, about our developments, and also about our planning, and also why we do this hackathon. So I think that will, be, my side of the explanation. So I hope that, everyone can have a good experience. It takes 2 more months, and I think in between we will have a lot of great demo days and workshops, and join our Telegram and channels, and also we have Discord channels. And for technical things, please go to the Discord channel, and for general communication, you can go to our Telegram channel. And for submission of the projects, we have to go with the Dora link. So I think that's mostly I'm trying to introduce to the people here, and hope you have a great time with Avalanche Hackathon.
Yeah. Thank you, Wilson, for the kind introduction. I knew Wilson, I think roughly this time last year, and
Right.
But it's so nice to see Avalanche has grown so much in the past year. The whole ecosystem boomed. A lot of exciting projects already emerged, and I think the key of what Wilson just mentioned is that we have prepared great resources for you to kick off your project in Avalanche ecosystem. We will help you accelerate, just like dedicate into what you're already building, and you can focus on developing your product, bringing an MVP to life, and we'll help you cover the rest. So thank you, Wilson, for sharing. Let's welcome Lini to share a bit more on the technical side, how to integrate into Avalanche network.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Okay, so many people may wondering what is Avalanche. So we have seen a lot of public chains like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and many others. So what's the special points of Avalanche? I just want to give you some heads up. Avalanche is completely different from the rest of the public chains you might see in the market. But it's still very easy for developers. It's very developer-friendly network. So I hopefully in the next 30 minutes, I can just cover a bit of the technical aspects of Avalanche, the whole network. And don't worry, we have some in-depth technical introductions and the seminars for the coming workshops in the next 2 months. So today is just the start. Okay, I will share my screen first. Okay, here we are. Okay, so this is my part. Very simple self-introduction. My name is Lini. I'm the Avalanche Asia technical advisor right now. So I'm helping Wilson and the whole Asian team to look after some of the projects. And if you have some technical issues, architecture concerns, you can all pass to either the team or to me. So we can help you to solve all these questions. And we hopefully you can enjoy building in Avalanche. So today is about the introductory illustration of the overall Avalanche technical framework. So I give the title from snowflake to Avalanche. It's a bit funny story that, right now it's a very hot word calling Metaverse, right? So actually Metaverse is coming from the novel in 1992, if I remember correctly. And that novel is a science fiction novel. That novel's name is Avalanche. But that is nothing to do with the Avalanche I will give the introduction today, but it's just a coincidence. So, okay, what is Avalanche? Many people may consider Avalanche is just a public blockchain. Okay, you can do the projects, you can build dApps. Like Wilson introduced, there are so many projects right now on Avalanche. So is that all you want to know about Avalanche, just a public chain? No, it's definitely the answer is not. Because Avalanche, basically, it's a completely new consensus that is quite different from Bitcoin, quite different from Ethereum. and it is also a consensus that could be used in any of the modern computer distributed system. And of course, blockchain is only one aspect of the whole distributed network. So simply speaking, Avalanche is not only a blockchain. It is much more than a blockchain. If we look at the history of the development of blockchain, we can see that the first blockchain, or what we are very familiar with, is the Bitcoin network, dated in 2009. So they are using the consensus called the Nakamoto consensus, which is familiar with another name being called proof of work, POW. So you can just imagine in the POW stage, you use your computing devices for the hash collusion. And it's kind of, to prove your machine is the strongest in the network, that you will have the right to mine this block. It's very decentralized and a very revolutionary idea. And it's being called a P2P eCash network. So the key features for the Bitcoin is it has limited supply, or we use another word, hard cap. So right now, Bitcoin is considered as the best value storage asset for all the blockchain systems. But Bitcoin has its own issues, like it's slow. So the mining, is always being accused of a huge energy consumption. And besides, the throughput for the Bitcoin network is very low. It's about 7 transactions per second. Not to say also the Bitcoin network is dominated by the whales right now. But it's still very successful, we should say, and it's very fully decentralized network that we have ever seen right now. And after Bitcoin comes Ethereum back to 2015. So Ethereum is in the Ether 1 stage. I just noticed like yesterday, so the Ethereum changed the name from Ether 1 to a new name called, if I remember correctly, it should be layer of transaction. So the Ether 2 will be called layer of consensus. So we're back to right now, the Ether 1, which is the Ethereum we are using right now, still use the Nakamoto, which is the POW, proof of work consensus. And in the next phase, hopefully this year, Ethereum will step to another consensus called proof of stake, POS. But proof of stake has been, used widely right now in the other networks like Cardano or like the other networks. They are using the proof of stake. So for the Ethereum, is no need to waste too much time to give you very detailed explanation, but it's smart contract platform, and it's the first time that makes blockchain programmable. And currently, it's the #1 DeFi platform in the world. But still, Ethereum got its own bottleneck. Like the TPS is still very low. It's around 15 to 20 transactions per second. So you can see a lot of delay or pending transactions, especially when the gas limit or the gas price becomes incredibly high, when the market have some issues, like when all the token price are pumping or dump. So you will complain about your transactions are pending for quite a long time, unless you are willing, or you are not willing, but you have to pay a ridiculous high gas fee. And so the next generation, so the Polkadot, I know many people are saying Polkadot is the new or the Ethereum killer. It started in 2020 in the May. For the consensus part, it has not too much differentiation from the POS, but it's called the NPOS. It's using this consensus, still the proof of stake based consensus. The best part for Polkadot is how to solve the bottleneck of transactions. So the Polkadot invented a system called the hub and the parachains. So the hub is a relay chain, and all the parachains are surrounding the relay chain. So the parachains will do all the transactions, and the relay chain, which is a hub, is to make sure the whole ecosystem or the whole network is moving smoothly and in a secure way. So all the validating work is done by the relay chain. It's very good design, actually, and very innovative. But as we can see right now, so the cost may be very high for developers. You have to bid for a parachain, which is quite expensive right now. And also, if you're not very familiar with the programming language called Rust, and you have to learn the completely new architecture framework used in Polkadot called Substrate. So the learning cost is kind of high. Okay, speaking of Avalanche, what is the difference of Avalanche? Avalanche, actually, the mainnet is launched in September 2020. It has very unique consensus. It's different from POS or POW. So Avalanche, this word itself is a consensus. I will explain a little bit about this consensus later. So it's a very unique consensus protocol used in the whole network. And also for the validating part, it has validator sets, or we call subnets, which is to ensure the security of the whole network. Virtual machine part, it's not only supported Ethereum-based virtual machine, but you can define all the different virtual machines you want in the network. So we can say it's a virtual machine independent from the consensus layer. So the virtual machine layer is here, the consensus layer is here, the validating layer is here. So they are all independent of each other, which means as a developer, you are not necessarily to use the preset rules by Avalanche. You can self-modify the validating part. You can self-modify the virtual machine part, and you can develop all these applications, and you can set up the gas fee, the gas limit, and the validator requirements yourself. It's quite amazing. Okay, so I will go to the next page. Here, this page, I just present you some key knowledge of the Avalanche whole network, which is called Avalanche Primary. The consensus model, which I covered a little bit in the previous slide, the basic model is epidemic and gossip network. So here is a little explanation about the epidemic and gossip. It's more like repeated subsampling that one node in the whole network will ask randomly some other nodes for the opinion. Okay, this is called epidemic and gossip. It's not like one node will ask all the nodes in the whole network, but you can randomly pick up some of the neighboring nodes or some of the nodes with some certain attributes to ask their opinion about one issue. So this is like an epidemic model, so it goes very fast. Repeated subsampling is a key for this consensus. And another word is called metastability. So this is quite actually very important for you to understand why and how the consensus works. So I just grabbed this definition from on Google. What is metastability? So from this word, it has nothing to do with Metaverse, which we talked about quite a lot recently. Metastability is a chemistry terminology to define a continuing in its present stage of equilibrium unless sufficiently disturbed to pass a more stable state of equilibrium. Oh, sorry, I just cannot pronounce this word very correctly. So why I present this definition here. It's very long and hard to to understand. But simply speaking, this means metastable is like almost or nearly. So this is not to achieve 100% sureness, but it's almost sure. What's the benefits of metastable? So metastable can give you the maximum finality while you are not using the whole network for the extreme finality. That will be very fast and less energy consumption for sure. Okay, so this is the whole concept of the consensus metastable. Also, we have different validators in the network. We have the correct nodes, which can be considered as the good guy. Also, we have Byzantine nodes. Okay, you can call these bad nodes or malicious nodes, but I prefer the word. They are the nodes sit on the fence. So sometimes they are good. Sometimes they could be seductive for the other good nodes to do the malicious things. Okay, interesting. So the consensus protocol, actually, Avalanche is a final state of this consensus, but it's not like born to the final state. It is evolving from the more native consensus protocol until to the final stage of the Avalanche consensus. So there are actually 4 different protocols. I mean, in the whole consensus family, it's called Slash, which is the first protocol, and then it evolves to Snowflake, and to Snowball, and finally to Avalanche. So I just heads up here on the C chain, which the dApps and all the DeFi, Gamefi applications is live right now. Avalanche use the Snowman consensus. Okay, so the Snowman is in between Snowball and the Avalanche. It's customized to be more adapted to the EVM, which is the Ethereum virtual machine that is being used right now on C chain. And also in the whole network, we have customer chains, which is a subnets. Okay, speak a lot of terminologies and concepts here. I just want to show you a real demo how this Avalanche, or we call the Snowman consensus, comes from. Okay, here is a live demo here. I will play. Okay, these grids, you see the different colors. So actually the different colors represent the nodes. Okay, it's very fast. I will replay again. Okay, you can find that there are blue nodes, there are orange nodes in the beginning, right? So there's no consensus right now. But so all these nodes, we are asking like the random subsampling, the other nodes for their opinion. So whether I should be black, I should be blue, or I should be orange, until the other nodes tell them, okay, so this is the blue will dominate the whole network, or the orange will dominate the whole network. So this node, specific this node, will turns to one color he prefers until the whole network reach to unified color, which is shown in this demo, blue. So that is the consensus comes from. Okay, so if you want to see, I can play this again. This is called the subsampling. It takes several rounds, of course, but you can see when the consensus or the unified opinion in the whole network comes to one conclusion, it takes not so quite a long time, which means the consensus is being finished in a short time. Okay, so that's this demo. Okay, so this is the evolution of the Snow, or we call Snow protocol family, from Slash to Snowflake to Snowball, and finally to Avalanche. Okay, so there are so many, math or scientific research and experiments to adjust all these parameters in the different stage. This is to tell the user that the avalanche, the final state of the consensus, is not, born with this kind of parameters or all this setup. It comes from a very naive state, from the slush to the next phase, snowflake, and evolves to snowball. That is added the confidence counter is a terminology used in the whole consensus protocol. Then to the avalanche. So avalanche is considered like a multiple snowball protocols with the DAG, with the DAG, data structure organization. But it's not only for the blockchain, but for distributed system, like I said, mentioned. So on the C chain that we are using right now, it's a blockchain structure. So the avalanche has to be adapted a little bit. So that is the snowman consensus used right now in the C chain. Okay. So the comparison of different consensus from the classic BFT to the Nakamoto to Avalanche. So we can call Avalanche consensus is quite decentralized, that the validators are welcome all the people to join in, and you can join in right now. You can quit at any time you want. So it's purely decentralized. And there's a no auction, which means you don't need to pay a lot of money to bid to be the validator. And the requirements for being a validator, even for requirements for the machines, are very low. So you can check all the necessary technical documentation or requirements on Avalanche official website. And still, this consensus is very robust and very high throughput. So the throughput, or we call the TPS right now for Avalanche on the C chain, could reach over several thousand TPS transactions per second right now. And the finality is very fast. It's less than 1 second. It's a lightweight, consensus that could be, used in your customer networks. It's quiescent and it performs well in all different conditions. So Avalanche consensus is like a traditional Byzantine fault tolerance consensus plus the Nakamoto proof of work, and also the proof of stake, some of the assets or some of the concepts from all different previous consensus together. It's a combination. So why it's a combination, you can see the Avalanche consensus got the best part of the previous consensus protocols, like from the BFT, Byzantine fault tolerance, this kind of very classic consensus. Avalanche learned the fault tolerance, this element from the BFT, and from the Nakamoto, which is the POW consensus. Avalanche learned the probabilistic finality, just like I introduced previously. It's the meta stability, which is quite important to give the finality in the lowest cost. And also the proof of stake consensus learned from the Ouroboros proof of stake. So it has the economic argument in the consensus that prevent any Sibyl attack, because it has minimum requirements for anybody to be the validator, but still very decentralized. So as we can see, the Avalanche consensus is kind of a combination of all the previous consensus protocols into one. So the next one is about the subnets. Subnets, or we call the subnetwork, is a dynamic set of validators working together to achieve the consensus on the state of a set of blockchains. So each blockchain is validated by exactly one subnet. So everybody can create your own subnet in Avalanche. So a subnet can validate different public or private chains, but one node can be the member of different subnets group. So it's like when you create your own subnet, you can customize your validator setup, like how many validators you want and what's the requirements for all these validators. And even you can customize the gas consumption, the gas price, or the gas limit in your own subnet. So which is very powerful and strong that we encourage during this hackathon anyone to set up or build your own subnet for your applications. So you are not necessarily to build your applications on the C chain, but you can set up your own subnet and build your applications on it. It's very powerful, so you can try this. Okay, so this is the whole picture of the primary network we call Avalanche Primary. So you can see right now there are 3 different chains in the whole network, which are the X chain for the exchange, so the platform for the P chain. So the platform P chain is to manage the Snowman consensus and also to coordinate all the different validators. Like I said, the validators group, so there could be a different subnets, and all these validators will secure any of the chains in the whole Avalanche primary network. Like right now, the C chain, contract chain. So the validating part for the C chains also come from the validators from the P chain. So when you want to be the validator for the C chain, you have to join the validator group that is managed by the P chain right now. Okay, but on the C chain, it's an EVM compatible chain. So there are a lot of DeFi or the Gamefi or the SocialFi applications right now on the C chain. Okay, yeah, this is some further explanation about the 3 chains. Just one heads up that you have to pay attention to right now is on the X chain, it's a UTXO account type. So it's not like the account, the typical Ethereum account wallet accounts, which is the UTXO, which is the Bitcoin account type on X chain right now. So for C chain, it's a linear abstract from the snowball consensus because on the C chain it's EVM compatible chain, so it's using adapted consensus called Snowman. Okay, so validators picked up from the primary subnets, for the C chain. Okay, this is how the Avalanche consensus works. I'm not going to go through details of how this consensus works from one transaction to the final state. But if you look at this flowing chart, you can read one transaction when it's issued. So it's got confirmed, validated by all the different processes until finally this transaction will be considered as a legal transaction and put to the blocks. Okay, so some important notice for the hackathon participants this time that anyone, literally anyone, can build a customer chain or a subnet in the Avalanche primary network. So the subnets could be either private or the public ones. So you can choose the different types of subnets to build. And the dApps, like I said, it's not necessary to build on the C chain, but you can build your dApps on your own subnets, which is quite cool. So the security and the consensus all are provided by the primary subnets. So no auctions, no other costs, no other special requirements to build your application on Avalanche. So C chain right now is EVM compatible, so definitely you can choose to build your dApps on C chain, but you can also build your own new subnet, and in this subnet you can even build a SocialFi or GameFi exclusively dApps on your own subnet. So you can customize your gas consumption. So, and the amazing part for the subnet, it could be EVM or it could be non-EVM. So you can define your own virtual machine on your own subnet. It could be like a substrate, which is a Polkadot compatible subnet, or it could be like a Haskell enabled subnet. So Haskell is a programming language right now using by Cardano. So it's just no limitation that you can build up your own subnet. Okay, finally, a little bit about the Avalanche bridge, which is called AB. If you are wondering how to move the existing assets from the other networks, let's say from Ethereum to Avalanche to build for the DeFi, for the farming, for the Gamefi, whatever, you can use the Avalanche bridge. So the Avalanche bridge is a bridging mechanism developed by Avalanche, its own team, to replace the old Avalanche Ethereum bridge. So it's no more AEB. So all are called AB bridge right now. The key part for this AB bridge is using the Intel SGX, which is a TE trust execution environment. So all the ERC20 tokens from Ethereum can be ported from Ethereum to Avalanche. Many key aspects here, so I will share this presentation to you later, so I will not going to take more time illustrating all these technical details. So right now there are 4 wardens. I think you are concerned about the security of this bridge. I will say it's pretty secure right now. So there are 4 wardens right now to guarding the assets that locked on the Ethereum and issued on Avalanche. So this is the introduction for this Avalanche bridge. Yeah, that's the warden part. And for non-Ethereum assets, we give the door open to some third party to build the non-EVM, non-Ethereum assets. So if you want to port from the other public chains to Avalanche, let's say there are Seller, there are Venchain, there are AnySwap, all these are third-party bridges that can help people to move the assets from the other chains, let's say BSC, from Polkadot, from Phantom, Solana to Avalanche, use a third-party bridge. It's also possible. Okay, so I think that's all the information, very basic information you need to know about the Avalanche. That is to help you better understand how the whole network works, the amazing consensus, the different subnets, the different chains. So for the detailed technical instruction, we have the toolkit introduction for the next workshop. We will have the Oracle. We will have the cross-chain interoperable solutions by the different guests in the coming workshops. So hopefully you can enjoy your hackathon and build your amazing applications on Avalanche. Okay, thank you. Steve, I give back to you.
Cool. Thank you, Lenny, for Yep. Thank you, Lenny, for such a detailed introduction. I guess there's a lot to be tried out with Avalanche Network, with so much stuff to try out. And I guess also for this particular hackathon, an idealist will be provided to you, so that if you don't have a very, very clear idea on what to build it, the core team will provide a list of the projects and the sectors that they're expecting you to cover. There are, even if Avalanche ecosystem is already thriving, there are actually a lot of opportunities for you to tackle. Important projects that might, I think, bring a very, very positive influence to the Avalanche ecosystem. So I guess the idealist will be open source to you, I think, in the next few days. The hackathon will officially kick off on the first day of Chinese New Year, Chinese Lunar New Year, February the 1st, but it's already live on the platform. Let me see if I can show you here. Yep, let me know if you can see my screen. Yep, so we're good. So if you go to HackerLink platform, so I'm pretty much sharing how you can participate in this wonderful event. Just go to hackerlink.io/grant, and you can see the Avalanche grant on the banner. Just click into it. Pretty much if you're a developer, you can submit your project via the Submit Build page. You can sign in with your GitHub, and then you can upload your project from here. And if you are a voter, if you're an Avalanche ecosystem community member, then you can just go to our platform to see all the amazing projects. We can see there are already 3 projects submitted to this grant. And let's see, this is like a very interesting game. So Moto Dex is a new era in the world of computer games, developed by Alex. Hi, Alex. Welcome to the hackathon. And how you can participate in supporting this very, very nice project is that you can click on vote here. And we support on-chain voting with AVAX token. So you can just connect your MetaMask with the AVAX token, and you can vote your sacred vote to the projects you really like here. Each vote will cost 0.01 AVAX token at the beginning, and the cost will go up linearly if you want to go support this project more. So the goal here is really trying to encourage you to check out all the amazing new Avalanche ecosystem projects and show your love to support for them. We're actually expecting tens, even hundreds of submissions to this event. And like I mentioned, there are great resources behind this event, and a lot of investment opportunity. We are here. Avalanche, Avastart Venture is also here. We're here to support you, to try to help you accelerate. So yeah, I guess it's build time. If you have any questions, we're here for you. You can reach out to us and to the AVAX team. If you have any questions, if you want any feedbacks, let us know. We're here for you. There will be a lot of exciting workshops to be hosted in the next few weeks. And we'll invite really cool projects to demo in the DorahAcks community at the later part of the whole hackathon. So yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you, Wilson and Lini, for joining today's workshop. And Wilson and Lini and the whole AVAX team will be here to support you through this event. Thank you, Lini, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Awesome. Cool. And let's see. Let's see what amazing projects you guys are about to build. Can't wait to support you. And yeah, let's call it a day. And thank you all for joining us for today's workshop. Have a great one. Bye, guys.
Bye.